Hey everyone, Around the Mage Table has been gone for a couple weeks, so we had a lot of topics to talk about in this week's episode. So what we're going to do is split it into two parts since it ran a lot longer than we expected. You'll see part one today, obviously, and then next week we'll post the second part. Otherwise, we look forward to bringing you guys more content, and we hope you enjoy. Welcome back to episode 5 of Around the Mage Table. I am Frank, your host, and it's been a minute. Sorry to keep you guys waiting for a new episode for a while, but a lot has been going on. In fact, we've had someone join us, Technique. How you doing today, man?
Good, man. Thanks.
You want to give us a little background on who you are, other than one of the groomsmen at my wedding?
One of Frank's groomsmen at his wedding, the first wedding, and live locally here to him, so that's cool. And been playing WoW for a long time, and other games. Yeah,
we've been playing together since Cataclysm. We actually, I think, co-raid led
2005, man. 2005.
That's how long you've been playing? Yeah.
No, I think since I met you, since you met me.
No, 2005 is when the game came out. Okay, we're going down the rabbit hole.
It's been a while.
I just want to say, we actually had Scrap in our area the other, Christmas time, and she never...
Christmas, eh?
Yeah. And she was in your neighborhood.
We were hanging out, and
probably
then
literally
reached out, and Scrap was like, ghosted us. It was terrible.
No, she didn't ghost us. She taunted us, saying, hey, I'm in your neighborhood, but I don't give a lip to see you guys, so...
Yeah, believe it or not, I wasn't there to see you on Christmas Day.
So that leaves the person that we all really do care about because they're a much better friend. Shawnee, how you doing today?
You know what? I'm super today. I'm
good.
Pumped, and it's a good time.
In the pre-show, you said that what was it? You woke up and chose violence,
or it chose me. Either way, it's gonna be spicy.
So you're the one responsible for the bridge.
The bridge.
You didn't see?
You didn't see in Baltimore?
You gotta introduce the news.
This is dating the podcast, but anyways, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Canada, so I don't know what goes on below me.
Wow. Very selfish of a Canadian to do.
Well, it's all the fire that you guys have in your dumpster, and the smoke comes up, and I can't tell.
Says again, another rabbit hole we're going down. All right, we got a lot to talk about, so we're going to move directly into it. Sound fair?
Definitely.
Okay. First things first, huge news dump today on Season 4, right? We don't know, I think, the date of Season 4 yet, but it's coming probably in the next month-ish. And so we're going to kind of run through this all really quickly. First things first, we do know that there will be a rotation of raids from the past 3 raids of the expansion, just like there was with Shadowlands. So they're calling it the Awakened, as opposed to, what do they call the last one?
Slept.
What? No, what did they call it in Shadowlands? Like
I don't remember.
Crucible?
Faded. That's what they called it.
Yeah.
And so we'll just see all 3 dungeons on rotations. I'm curious from the 3 of y'all. All 3 of you raid with us. Sean, you quit, a little into it, but you raid with us mostly.
That's not true.
I got AOTC on each one
for every season.
Yeah, I got AOTC, and then you guys continued to raid, and
we missed you. That's all I'm saying. We missed you.
You just retired before we did.
I missed you too, but my back got sore, so I had to take a break.
Anyways, well, actually, real side note, because you will be able to use the legendaries again in this season. And Shawnee, knowing that there's actually, because they published it on Wildhead, the % chance to drop now, are you going to go back in and try to get your legendary on your paladin?
Maybe not. I don't.
Does it stack from last season?
I don't know. It's a good question.
It's extending, and I plan to heal really for Mythic Plus, so I'm less worried about the sword. I don't know if I'm going to raid this patch. Really,
say that every time.
Well, that was my next question. Are you guys planning on raiding? So we know Shawnee's not necessarily planning on raiding. He might change his mind.
Super in the air.
Yeah, I'm gonna raid casually, like I always do.
Yeah.
Raid on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah. We'll just.
I would call that casual.
Well, the reason why I think it's kind of, I don't want to say required, but why we might want to do it is because of the new dinar system, right? So we have they're called booleans now, which every time I think of boolean, I feel like it's one of those things you put in a soup.
Yeah, me too. But it's like a gold bullion is the thing, right?
Bronze bullion, yeah.
I think it's called a bouillon.
Booyah.
Pretty sure they make gold bullions also, but that's fine.
So as far as we can tell, all the raid gear, all the trinkets that you would love, or all the weapons that you would love, will be available for 2 of the...
Jigglesworth is coming back?
Breaking news, and I just want to remind everyone, throughout the entire episode today, Scrap is going to be learning things for the first time.
I've done no research. Is it the same Jigglesworth, or is it a new one?
No, it's the same. They just
okay. That's cool. That's cool.
So there are 4 vendors in total. 3 of them will have all the stuff like the weapons and trinkets that you like. And then there'll be another one to upgrade your legendaries and get cosmetics and stuff like that, including Jiggleworth's Senior. But that one will cost a little more apparently.
Oh, can you buy the legendary there?
No, you can't buy the legendary, but that's how you upgrade it. Yeah. And there might be other ways to upgrade as well.
Frank, do you have a Peacock account?
I do.
What does that have to do with anything?
It's not on the podcast. No one can see that.
The advertisement.
But it does. It's implying that there might be a chance to earn as many booleans as you want. So that'd be cool. I don't know. I don't know if you guys felt in the Faded season that we were kind of like stretched for what you wanted to get out of it. But like I know Frank and Barry on my Mage, I definitely would want probably a lot of things.
I just know that like the casual raiders that we play with got all the things I wanted and all the things that I got.
You can talk to your brother about that because Haywire is the one that always gets all the luck. He's just sucking it from you.
Danny gets everything.
Yeah.
Max.
All right.
Try to.
So that's raids, and again, sorry, we're stretched for time already, but that's raids. Let's go and move into M+, which is I think for all of us a lot of the meat and potatoes what we love, right? So we had a blue post today, not only explaining or re-explaining the dungeon difficulty changes. So let's give a quick TLDR. In the next season and going forward into War Within and any other expansion, assumingly, they are going to buff the difficulty of both heroic dungeons and mostly mythic 0 dungeons by moving the difficulty of what would now feel like an M0 to what is now feeling like an M plus 10. All right. So 10 levels of difficulty will now be the base. And for every +1 after that, it will feel like the equivalent of a +1 will feel like, +2 will feel like a +12 for the current season. Now, a couple questions still haven't been answered, but for the most part, this really isn't a big deal for anyone that does, 15s or 20s, because instead of just doing a 15, you'll do a +5 instead, right? However, there are some changes to the affixes. We won't see affixes until, I think it's +5 and +10. Am I right? Let me see real quick.
Go down low.
So you'll see +2 for the fortified tyrannical, but +5 and +10 for the affixes, which means that you wouldn't see an affix until +20 equivalent in this season. And those are the ones that usually don't like dealing with. Well, that's not true. Incorporeal and afflicted are in the middle one, but so again, not a huge deal. Everything will kind of feel the same. However, my one question is, there was like this exponential rate at which keys got harder. So, like from going from a +2 to a +3 would be an 8% difficulty swing, whereas going from a 19 to a 20 might be a 35% swing. I wonder how that's going to pan out. I assume the same way, they just kind of like flatten the curve a little bit. But I wanted to get y'all's just thoughts and feelings on this change. It doesn't seem like it's going to change too much. We usually run +20s.
I mean, it's not going to change too much for us, but I feel like it's there's like people who don't get up to 20, right? Like people who just get their Keystone Master and are fine with that, like a good percentage of the community.
Even Keystone Master, only about, I want to say it's 15% of players get Keystone Master.
Yeah, so it just seems like you're gatekeeping content. Like if you want to get to the further affix, you have to like either want to be like sacrifice yourself to the pug system or have a reliable group at like a skill level who can do that. So I don't know why they would gatekeep content like this, but
their theory is that because they're making the numbers closer together, they feel that pugging will actually become easier because if you're able to do a 5, to get in a 6 is going to be in their mind easier than if you were doing 15s and try to get in 18s. People are like, unless you've done an 18, you're not seeing us because you're like 2 or 3 levels below.
Yeah, but if there's a large percentage of the community who's not even getting up to the 20 level, like why would you start introducing content at that level?
I'm not sure I understand.
I think I agree with Shani's point in that that gap is going to be smaller but the same. When you're going to fill a group and you see someone who's experienced in a 5, it'll be easier to say, oh, let's maybe give them a chance in a 6 versus someone who's done a 15 and now you're trying to jump to a 20, which would be kind of the same jump ish.
I mean, my experience pugging is that like I will get denied from keys I've already timed. So
yeah. I don't think this is geared towards. This isn't geared towards the 15 and 14 peoples. This isn't geared towards the 20s. It's geared towards the people who are too scared, in my opinion at least, too scared to go into the M+ scene because of timers. Because if I mess up, I get flamed. Whereas with an M0, which will now be harder, and people will be happy that it's harder because, like, think about when we did the Mega Dungeon, right? Like, it was when it first came out, it was difficult despite being an M0. Like, that's, I think, what they're trying to capture for the players who don't like to do M+ because they're too anxious about the timer. The gear, if I remember correctly, will be a little bit better. But at the end of the day, whether we're doing an M14 or an M4, it's going to be the same. And all those stigmas of, oh, well, they wouldn't take me to 15, but maybe now they'll take me to 5 because that number is closer to a 4 or whatever, that will ultimately get washed away as the season goes on and people realize, like, oh, a 5 to a 6 is the equivalent of a 15 to a 16, which is the exact same jump.
I mean, they do this all the time where they're just like, okay, so like a 15 is the new 10 or what the new
No.
Not to this extent, right?
No, they haven't done this to an extent.
I don't think changing the numbers is going to be that. Like you said, I think it's going to balance out. People are going to know about what skill level you have to be at each. The part that I think is different is that they're now adding an affix at a much higher level of play than they were before.
And you only need to do. You don't even need to.
Which should make it easier.
10 to do a 10 gives you the max chance at the mythic roll.
No, doing a 9. Doing a 9
Slow
does.
down a little bit, Richie.
You can do a 9 that has less of a chance of the mythic roll, but like basically you can do 9s, have one affix only plus fortified or tyrannical. And not have to do like the double of a 10.
So the 9 will give you gear to the equivalent of an 18 right now.
Yeah.
So to Shani's point, in an 18 right now, I have to deal with both affixes to get my myth track gear. Yeah. But in the next season, a 9 will give me a myth track gear just like an 18 does, but I don't have to deal with that technically third affix.
I guess this follows the community's opinion that affixes are negative. Like, most people don't like affixes, but like I think affixes make the dungeons interesting, and I think that like keeping one away from a large portion of the community is like negative. That's just my opinion, though.
I don't think the community thinks the affixes as a whole are negative. It's just that they're bad affixes, right?
Yeah.
If you get 2 bad affixes, if you get 2 bad in a week, it ruins a week. Where now people will be like, oh, I can still do my week and only have 1 bad instead of 2.
Like going back to the incorporeal one where you as a warrior or a hunter can't do anything to help out. Like this week, as I'm playing my DK, I can't help out, period, right?
I think that this doesn't solve the problem that the affixes are bad.
Side note, real quick.
Shoving it under the rug.
Yeah.
I think affixes as an idea are great. Like, I like to see things change in the dungeon. I don't want to just rerun the thing at a higher health point and higher damage output, like scale. But yeah, the ones that like pinpoint healers or pinpoint DPS classes, I really feel like those need to just go. And the ones that are more generic, like
like storming or something.
Yeah, storming is fun and not. It probably could be even buffed a little bit because it just as a tank anyway, it's pretty irrelevant
until he throws you off the side of a wall.
Yeah, but like Sanguine, I actually like Sanguine as much as I don't enjoy like being the tank in that. I feel like it's challenging and it's not punishing to any certain individual class more than it would be. Or like,
well, it is punishing to the tank. Yeah, okay.
What I mean is, it's not worse for a warrior tank than it is for a paladin tank in most
cases.
No,
but it is better for a monk tank because they can displace everyone. It's better for a DK tank because they can move things.
But it's different of like, there's some class that have strengths and weaknesses to some class just have a 0 input on this.
Go on, Mike.
Yeah, like straight up no ability to decurse is
that's completely different than having an advantage class.
No, and I agree with Technique on the idea that I like Sanguine because I have to think more as I'm tanking, which just makes me enjoy the process a little more. I can totally understand why no one would like it, given that there's some mobs that you can't do jack shit about, or if you get a boss stuck in it for a second, like it just sucks. But I think we've already talked about this in another episode.
Yeah, we've
but
already trodden this ground now.
Ultimately, they did nerf a lot of affixes already. So Incorporeal, or maybe no, sorry, Afflicted has a longer cast time. I think they they changed something else. Anyways, point is they've nerfed a whole bunch, but I think we all agree though, like if it was up to us, we just do one seasonal fix. Because for me, changing the dungeon is enough within the season. Because you always but like if I'm gonna go back and do Ruby pool, life pools, right? Mm-hmm. What's going to be the most different for me is not seeing entangling again. It's not going to be seeing storming again. Like we've already seen that. But for me, having the chance to go back to Ruby life pools and then being able to do like an cool heroism mini or doing a a prideful that pops up that will be what changes the dungeon for me, you know?
What
Yeah,
about a
but
woe? I want to
typically-
see some woe.
Yeah, give me some woes.
That's true, but typically you wouldn't see Ruby Life Pools come back. We're seeing it this time. But
Well,
it's
no,
like
that's
you see
the
different
plan, though.
dungeons per season.
This is the new normal, right? So the idea is that, like, next expansion, we might see Freehold again, right?
Yeah,
And
that's true, but it's like I'm not, you know, when I see Freehold again a year later, I'm excited by Freehold. I'm not like, you know, this is gonna be boring unless they add another affix.
Okay.
Like
Tomato.
that's just, dude. I'm already bored. Like I've been bored of this season 3 months ago. The affixes haven't fixed that problem.
Let's go and jump into all the dungeon changes that they are, and most of them the quality of life. So, for example, they added a dungeon checkpoint after defeating the frog boss in Halls of Infusion. I figure, Scrap, you would love that news.
Oh, yes, I love that. That
God.
dungeon needs checkpoints.
They normalized the spawn rate of the tsunamis during the gauntlet at the end. They've nerfed the heck out of the containment beams from those little orbs that start at
that's fantastic.
Right? I think Primalist Galesinger is the one at the end, the mini boss at the end. Wind Buffet
not show off the platform the whole time.
Yeah. Wind Buffet has been removed. Thunderstorm has been removed, and now uses Thunder Strike, which hits the tank and people around him. And there's more on another page. So
they didn't buff any of them. They just nerfed all of them.
There's some things that have changed. Yeah, this is
things changed. Okay.
Yeah. Watch Iridius, the first boss. His stun on the tank has got a visual cast now. Power Overload. This one's big, I think. Now has a rim visual that tells you you have it.
How far you have to go.
And has a power field that gradually grows to its full size, as opposed to just slamming everyone with a big S circle.
That's a good change.
I think that one's a really good one. Added visuals to ice boulders that trigger avalanche. So now on that boss that has the boulders that you hide behind, you'll know you're standing behind one that will trigger avalanche.
That's a good one.
Here's a really good one. The last boss, Primal Tsunami, now throws everyone away only at 50% health.
So it can't happen multiple times.
Exactly.
Honestly, they're probably just doing that to cover their asses, because I remember there were many bugged runs where it would happen when he has got like 2% health and he would just glitch out of existence.
No, they're doing it. I don't remember that, but they're doing it because at a level 29, like you're gonna have to do it 15 times. You're not making any progress. It's a 10-minute boss, you know.
Yeah. No, that's smart.
Yes, sir.
Johnny, I'm looking at those and I'm thinking this game's just been pussified, man. I feel like every single.
What are your thoughts on it?
I feel like
here
it's fair.
is just a major nerf, man. It's like
most of it is nerfs, but in the end, this season, if anything, I would say they're more and more so aiming to get people into Mythic Plus more, because they know Mythic Plus is becoming bigger than raiding. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me they're nerfing, because the way they're doing dungeons is they want people to go from M0s, which are going to be harder but without a timer, and you can learn in it and there's no stress, to start going to M+. So the fact that they're nerfing these doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, no, I mean, for all we know, that difficulty curve will maybe ramp up a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I think what they're trying to do is make it so that, you know, like so argument that season 3 was the easiest season of the expansion because people were doing more higher keys than normal. And I think that they were okay. Well, I think they were okay with that, but they're also trying to go after, I mean, we haven't seen the whole list yet, but going after, like, I mean, every single one of those changes were like a huge quality of life that we all would go, oh, thank God, like that sucked. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun watching everyone get shit on in a pug on that gauntlet because they just, you know, were watching 15 things, yada, yada, yada. So
the game was never originally designed to be pugged. You know, you don't do a cooperative 5-man role-based game and then like do it with a bunch of randoms with no communication.
Was never designed to be pugged?
But the game, the game was designed to be pugged, maybe not, but it definitely is now.
Well,
and it's something they encourage now.
That's
why you have looking for
they've had a looking for group channel since Wrath, and they had the general channel to.
I'll disagree with Shani.
No,
however,
I mean
there's this huge amount of the game that no one plays anymore that you can play by yourself and not communicate to others and do, like, you know, quests and fucking dragons.
Well, I mean, there's follower dungeons now, but what's
the
point
is, like, why should we cater the highest end content in the game to the pug?
but you're not.
I don't think that we should.
No.
These aren't pug changes. These are like fairness adjustments.
No, yeah,
these
like
are things that feel like unfair when they hit you.
Yeah, like the power overload is pug or not.
That, man.
Technique having a one shot have a visual display is not like a nerf. It's
and having the boss not
fair.
trigger every 20%, which makes the fight go for 15 minutes because like we could have the best DPS in the world, but on a tyrannical key, like you go into tyrannical what is it, Halls of Infusion, and you're just gonna go, I don't want to do that because even if I can do it, I don't want to because the last boss is gonna take 10 minutes. Like these, you could argue some of them are definitely pug friendly, of course, right? Here, let's keep reading and we'll come back to this thought in a second. All right.
I mean, one more thing. There's all like 70% of those changes were just adding a visual to something that would one shot.
I don't know if it was 70%, but okay.
I just crunched the numbers.
She has a calculator there. I heard it.
Anyways, all right. Azure Vaults increase the timer by 1 minute. I think they fixed a lot of the shortcuts though, so that might be why.
Oh, that's fun.
You can't skip anymore in Azure Vault.
Not all. You can skip a little bit, but not a lot.
You can't jump down the platform. Though.
Yeah, you definitely can't do that.
You can't jump down the platform. See, that I feel like is unfun.
Yeah, that was kind of fun jumping, but
like taking it down 1 minute, not fun. Jumping down the platform, fun. Why would you remove that?
So, Crystal Fury, which I think is the first boss, has some visuals added to it. Impact area reduced. That actually kind of sounds like a buff to the boss. The lashers at the start that have the cast that you have to interrupt will now cast less frequently. All right.
Crystal Fury, I think, is a trash mob, and Piercing Shard is the one that like hits everybody behind you, right?
Maybe, yeah. That might be. You're right. Yeah, like the little rock guy in the circles. Yeah, I think you're right. All right. Arcane Tender's erratic growth. That's the one that turns you into a tree. Has been increased cast time. That wasn't a huge problem.
No,
Heavy Tome cast less frequently. Again, wasn't a huge problem, but I guess quality of life. The breakers, which now you have to kill because, as my technique pointed out, you can't jump anymore. The shoulder slam
around that
doesn't knock you out of the. Yeah, and then it doesn't do, I think, an AOE in front of it. Now it just inflicts on the tank to take more damage.
It actually, so the change I read is that actually hits everyone around him. The shoulder slam hits in an AOE, so I'm not sure.
It might be on the second page here. We'll put in on that. Yeah, you might be right because I think I remember hearing that
in the PTR 10.2.6 notes. I think it said that the shoulder slam hits like a group around him, 8 yards around him.
Yeah,
so
that might be right.
Basically, just kind of changing how you fight that.
Okay, Laymore, which I think is the first boss. Erupting fissures now fall. I don't remember this. I don't think it's a big deal. Azure Blade, you'll like this one, Scrap.
Fuck that guy.
The intermission now ticks every 2.5 seconds instead of 2 seconds, so it's about a 20% nerf, or no, 25% nerf. On the damage there. Umbra skill, oppressive miasma was removed in mythic difficulty. What was that?
I don't even remember what that is.
That's the last boss.
It was just like damage over time that was happening.
Maybe it was a slow. Yeah, I think that's right. Crystallize now pulses. So the big crystal now pulses arcane damage, which means that you're gonna have to focus the big crystal first and then get the little ones. And then Crackling Vortex has a larger movement radius. So I think it just those things, the little balls move around faster.
Great.
Brackenhide. Rob. Okay, so from what I can tell,
renamed him. Why? Oh, so it's more obvious he's a ranger.
Well, and I think he's he's the one with shoot.
Why did they rename stuff?
Well, I think what they were trying to do is they were trying to nerf a lot of the left side of the dungeon that no one ever took. So like shoot has a cast time of 6 seconds, which is obviously a lot slower.
It used to just be like back to back. Shoot.
Yeah. And now Rotten Meat can be dispelled. The Shapers just don't summon anything anymore, and then
they don't do anything.
Touch of Decay has been removed.
They just stand there while you kill them.
Stink Breath's Whirlwind is a little smaller, but he also now locks onto the target.
Oh, that's actually sweet because it was like you can't hit it.
Yeah, well, and you also have a visual now to know that if you're standing it with your friend, So
yeah, cool.
Withering Poison's been removed. Bloody Blight being removed. I guess it really didn't do anything. So both Bloody Blights on fighters and War Scourges.
The totem was removed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's sweet.
And then the Warband haste has been reduced by 5%. Mark for Butchery's damage frequency has been increased by 1 second, which I think is a good change.
Yeah, that's good.
Frenzy's damage reduced, and then duration reduced. So, you know, good changes
Just
across the board
nerf.
there.
Yeah.
Algathar Academy. Spellbound Scepter Arcane Rain has been removed. That thing was pretty brutal, but I don't think it was ever really a huge problem. It was the scepter, like the
It's avoidable, right? Like you just walk out of
maybe, I can't remember, man. And then Arcane Missiles has been reduced, whatever. Those are I think the Dragonkin at the end. And then Kroth's Firestorm frequency has been reduced. I think that killed us numerous times.
Yeah. That's good.
I mean, Mike,
so the other patch I saw that Firestorm's frequency was reduced, but also the radius used to be 6 yards and now to be 5 yards.
Yep.
So I guess a little easier to avoid.
Yep.
Okay.
And then Savage Peck, which wrecked tanks, has been reduced.
Reduced by 13% initial damage and 33% for the periodic, which is huge for tanks. Yeah. It's basically like a negligible amount of damage.
Well, I wouldn't say it was negligible because it hit so fucking hard, but it's like now you're sitting there going, okay, I can do this, you know.
But also we now have like hero talents and we're all gonna be much stronger. I don't know, it just depends on how the numbers are scaled. We'll see.
And they added a new ability to the last boss because she was so boring. I think what it does is it like
that's good.
Just starts putting out the void zones instead of waiting for us to mess up, you know. So it just like kind of has an enrage timer. Neltheris, burning chains can only be used once.
No.
And now
burning chain.
Yeah. So you can only 2 people can't use it at a time. Burning chain now also stuns the enemies, but increases the damage they take by 50%. So
it doesn't just do a ton of damage.
It doesn't do a ton of damage.
Doesn't do any damage.
Yeah.
Haters.
Yeah.
I think this will be okay, and it'll honestly be more fun for us, going after the DPS meters. So.
Yeah.
All right, Chargrath. Fire focus pulsing damage near Chargrath has been removed, so now that boss you have to drag through the chains, you won't accidentally get crushed by his circular AoE, and he just channels damage on the tank, but it'll be a huge heal check for the healer, it sounds like. And then the chain now persists on a defeated player, huge deal, and now does a small knockback to players when applied. So I think it doesn't do a huge knockback like it used to. Warlord Sargas, Dragon Horde now stacks. So the Curse of the Dragon Horde. This is what, as a mage, everyone would always ask me to decurse, and I'd just say, why bother? Because it'd be a 5-minute long thing, and you just get it back. They will let it stack, and it can stack from 30 seconds countdown, which means that if you go pick up multiple weapons, you can actually make the stack go higher. So I think it's trying to discourage people from stacking the items, but it's not making it as penalizing to have it, if everyone picks up their one.
I think the big thing there was to do this encounter at a high level, you had to have decurses.
Yeah.
And rather than do that, not everyone has to pick up a weapon. You don't need 5 weapons thrown at the shield. You need 3? So you could
3.
Kind of balance around I've got a rogue that can decurse himself with whatever the shadow ability is.
Okay.
I'll take it this time, throw my weapon and clear my curse on my own. You can just kind of balance around it and balance around the 30-second timer on it versus having it stack on people.
Well, and theoretically, as a mage, I could still pick up 3 items, right? Now I'd have to get lucky that they'd all be different, but
it hits for 13,000 every 3 seconds when you have it. So you're talking about a really easily healed amount of damage.
And again, think of a 28 tyrannical. It probably hits pretty hard, but yeah, I get your point. All right, Nakud. They've just touched the bosses, it looks like. Longbow, multi-shot has been removed, rain of arrows, now cast less frequently. That's kind of nice. That's one of the mobs that we'd have dealing with the first set of trash. Hunt Prey's damage has been reduced. That's good. Thunderfist Storm Shock has been removed, and Stormspeaker Stormbolt has been removed. I think those are the guys.
The packs at the first.
Yeah. Or the packs for the third boss, but either way, not a big deal. And then the last boss, frequency of storm winds during intermission have been reduced, which is a huge deal.
It might need a bit more than that, I think. More nerfing than that.
Well, guess what, Scrap? It's on the PTR now. We can test this weekend.
I'm just gonna complain without testing it. I know that needs something
thank
to
goodness.
All right, so Ruby Life Pool, the Terra Sentry stone missiles have been removed. There's another change that I'll come to in a second, but Kiraka, which I think is the last boss.
The second one? Isn't it the second one? Maybe you're right. Maybe it's the last one.
Google it. Yeah, last boss.
Okay.
Inferno Core's duration has been increased, and then the periodic damages. This seems like a wash because it's been increased by 30%, but damage has been reduced by 25%. And Oldemon, Lost Wars, damage has been reduced by 50%. I don't remember this being a huge deal, but it has, killed us once in a while.
Yeah,
Second page.
Pain fall the fire down.
We already talked about burning chains, fiery focus.
It's literally the same thing we just did.
Yeah, I just want to. But there's some other things in here, like no, that's different.
It gets to some of the specific numbers, like I point out on the ones I remembered, but
well, there was one that I was looking for that I saw, but I guess it's not. It doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah. All right. Oh, by the way, there's gonna be a Dawn of the Infinite hard mode. So
sick.
It's on. It's available for testing. So, season 4. You guys excited about doing the Dragonfight dungeons? What are you thinking?
I'm happy to see them back again, but I think I'm gonna do it real casual this season because it's like there's nothing new. Like, yeah, they changed the levels, but there's no new affixes, no new dungeons. It's just gonna be like a little walk down memory lane.
Well, some of the dungeons won't have storming, which will be, or not storming, thundering, which will be nice.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't seen some of those without thundering, but
like
I
don't
really remember.
I'm excited to do them as a healer and decide if that's what I want to do going into the next expansion or not.
Tech, you can do anything different?
I agree with both of those points. I'm gonna play a tank and I'm gonna play a prompt warrior again. It'll be new with the hero talents, which I know we're gonna get into. But I'm not like ecstatic about the patch. I feel like reusing the content and doing it again and all that is, we did the faded raids in Shadowlands, and I just wasn't super thrilled about that either. I don't know. I'm more excited about the dungeons than I am in the raids. I'll give it that.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think there's something to be said about the fact that the alpha will probably be out in the next, probably in the next 3-4 weeks. So by the time this season launches, the alpha will be also launching right behind it. And how many of you guys pre-ordered? Have you guys all pre-ordered?
Yeah.
I think I did. I don't know. Maybe.
Tech?
I don't remember.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so we're going to have access to the beta, right? And so this season won't feel as long and stretched out because if you want to go test the hero talents, if you want to go see the new dungeons, we can. Part of that might be though you don't want to because you don't want to spoil.
I never liked to see the new dungeons before.
Yeah.
Like maybe I watch a quick video, but I don't want to like do them before because then it takes away the excitement of doing them the first time with new expansion. Dog is attacking me.
But we will have the hero talents. We will have the hero talents to sink our teeth into, even if it's just to look at them and try them out on beta. So I think that will make the season not feel as painful. And again, my bet is that by July we'll have the expansion. So hopefully it's
in July. Why that early?
Bro, July? It's like a year away. What is happening?
No, but I mean, normally don't they do the fall for expansions? Like, when have they done a summer one?
They've done a couple of August ones. I think Legion and
like August and November and stuff. Like
normally it's September and like early October.
But no earlier than August.
No, so a lot of that is because they're trying to change the cadence of the expansions. They want it to be a year and a half instead of a 2-year process, right?
Okay.
And so this would be a year and a half. Now, granted, it depends on how well the alpha and beta go, because obviously if they hit like a huge wall of these hero talents terrible, it could be a problem. But speaking of hero talents, let's go on and take a look at those real quick. Scrap, how much do you know about hero talents? Like how much do you know about the ones
I know I don't like them.
Sorry?
I said I know I don't like them.
Okay. Shawnee, how much have you researched them?
Let me elaborate before Shawnee goes. It's they changed up the look of the talent tree. They did it for Dragonflight. Everybody made a big to-do about it, and it's like, okay, it's not that different. It's just different talents, whatever.
I think okay.
Not exciting, not interesting.
I think that's because you're not using them correctly, Scrap.
Oh, I'm not using them correctly.
You don't change your talents per fight, per dungeon.
No, I don't. Well, I did in like Shadowlands when it was like just.
Why wouldn't you do it more now that you have a lot more choices to change?
Because I'm already like I have this like Jenga tower of like perfect things that I want all of them. You know what I mean? And it's like maybe in raid, like per raid encounters, I'll change it around a little bit. But like it's gonna be the same. I'm gonna be moving something around for a different dungeon or whatever. I don't know. Talents. I'm not a talents person. It's just
yeah.
not
I was gonna say.
interesting.
I think you're not utilizing them to the best of your ability. It's
I just don't like it. Well, yeah, I just utilize it.
Shawnee,
they say this is most damage. I do it.
Shawnee, how about you? How much do you know about the hero talents? How well have you been keeping the pulse?
I'm pretty excited. Mostly, I haven't looked at all of them, but the paladin ones have me interested. I think, especially holy, I might just go with the ones that put the armor instead, just to have the fun of scrap running for them. To get them before you can.
That's true. I like stuff like that.
So you are going to play the Lightsmith, which right now, amongst the community, is one of the least favorites.
I don't know if I'm going to play it for sure.
Scroll down to the Lightsmith.
Oh well, we'll get to
we're talking.
I'll definitely. I think I'm going to give them all like a good college try.
Yeah.
And see which one I prefer. If there's one that might be like super far, like it's so far above that if you don't take it, it's going to hinder the group, then I'll have to take it.
Yeah, well, that'll be in and of itself another argument for why they need to balance. But yeah, I get your point.
But yeah, no, I like the idea because there is some difference between them where like Lightsmith seems to be like people move around more, but like then one seem more like AoE heal damage focused, and other ones seem more single target, which I like the idea of, so I can balance out my builds.
And what about you, Tech? Have you been keeping up with them?
Yeah, I looked at the warrior ones primarily. I didn't get into any other classes because I'm not going to play any other class.
You wouldn't change if there was one that just stood out to you like, holy shit, that sounds fun?
Another class?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do another class. Not because like they're not cool, just I'm really stubborn like that. So,
well, and I think you also love your warrior, you know.
I do. And you know, I Shawnee made a point, you know, it's like concerned about, oh, well, you know, if there's one that stands out as being best, I'm going to have to do that, which that I think is a big, like, it's like a disguised, I don't know, it's like they're all kind of offering this really cool change and everything, but ultimately it's like another point that you get to spend just like everybody else is the fear. I think that people are going to be like, oh, well, I have these really cool 3 choices that sound really cool, like Rider of the Apocalypse, that's cool. I want to be that. And then all of a sudden, like, you know, it sucks compared to whatever that Sandland word is.
So that was my question I was going to pose to all 3. Like, for me, and I'll just tell you my opinion and then you guys can go, I'm going to choose thematically instead of DPS.
You are not.
I play Arcane because I choose thematically, not because I choose top DPS.
Yeah, but you want to be the best Arcane mage, you're going to have to pick the right talent tree.
No, I'm going to pick the one that feels the most fun. Now, granted...
You don't do it now, so
what are you talking about?
Then you set up your talents based on what looks the coolest.
I've changed it, and my Frost DK is a perfect example of that. I'm using Frost Scythe over everyone else, and it's like marginally better to not use it, but I don't care. It's like feels more fun to play it.
I'm putting down right now. You're gonna pick what you're told to pick.
Okay.
You might move one talent from here to there.
I'm gonna clip this. I'm gonna clip it.
Clip it.
Anyways, I'm definitely gonna choose thematically. Like, for example, I'm definitely going to play Rider of the Apocalypse no matter what on my Death Knight, right? So just to give everyone a quick rundown, Rider of the Apocalypse, you'll keep summoning the 4 horsemen throughout the fights, right? And then at some points you can have all 4 of them, you know, just like all these crazy Death Knights flying in and out. But for me, and granted, you can't use this in dungeons most likely, if at all, but there's a talent that lets you just constantly be on your mount while you are in combat. Like, that just sounds so... Yeah, while outdoors. And granted, there are outdoor parts, like, for example, dungeons do have some outdoor parts where you can mount up. I don't know how to work in that. We'll see. But, like, even if that's not the case, I'm going to be choosing that just because it sounds so fun and
Ruby
different.
Light Pools, Nakud, Brackenhide.
Yeah, Nakud definitely.
Which dungeons
these are not going to be dungeons. These are going to be different
No, but his point is that, like, if we could use it
now. Like
now,
half, yeah.
Right? But, like, and don't get me wrong, like, if one's absolutely busted bad, I'm not going to use it because my theme will just be diminished by the fact that I'm, like, sitting in the nosebleeds. But, like, okay, so I just want to bring up Rider of the Apocalypse because I think it's, like, one of the best. We'll move on to Demon Hunter. I don't think any of us play Demon Hunter, but, like, there doesn't seem to be too much excitement around this one. It's not bad necessarily, but...
one tree you get to choose
one
from.
Tree. Yeah, what the hell?
Oh, no, they're gonna get a second.
We'll
You'll see. They just don't post it if it's not out yet.
They don't have it yet.
Yeah, I've heard that like there's a lot of problems with the balance one because it's like forcing some like if you're a guardian druid, you have to like play with spells that you break you out of bear form. But I also heard, I can't remember which one it is. It's either Druid of the Claw or Wildstalker. That like you could be as a bear tank when you're off tanking. So let's say, you know, like I'm a bear and technique takes the tank on the boss. You can do a ton of damage by switching into cat form while you're off tanking. So like that sounds like a good change if that's the way it works.
I mean, I think it's good anyway for Druid, just because like the best Druid healers have to switch to
weaving.
You know, I think they would do well if they actually made Druids switch more often.
Yeah.
And made it more a part of it, because like really just being a bear the whole time is like, I don't know, I feel it loses some of the coolness of the spec. But anyway.
Some of the coolness of the class. Like here I'm a druid and I have to be a bear the whole time.
Yeah, I think it'd be more fun if they switched more.
Yeah, I think, I mean, ultimately to the point of just like, I want to be weaving in and out no matter what.
Maybe if they took like the switch off the GCD, that'd be a good like, hey, I just instantly become a human and cast some Moonfire and then come back.
Or if they do it like Diablo 4, where you just like the druid in that, when you use certain skills, if they're not
just
in
kind
that
of
form, you
fades
just
into it and back.
Yeah.
I like that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
Evoker seems to be like they do a good job of kind of buffing. There's one of them that's like, holy hell, it makes Devastation really strong. But again, I'm not much of a Evoker there. All right, I wanted to stop here on Pack Leader for Scrap because she is a survival hunter.
Scrap, I read it.
You did read it?
Yeah, I read through the Beastmastery.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I read it.
That is like a first for us. She's somewhat prepared.
I didn't like. I mean, I did a quick read through, and it's mostly like it's like the Beastmastery one, right?
Yeah, but like when you hear Beastmastery, don't you think like be pulling out like 15 pets out of nowhere? And
yeah, that would be cool. The rest, it's really dull. It's like, oh, your pets do more, and it's like, oh, you're adding a management like aspect of Beastmastery to survival, which is like survival is all like you're managing things very like in very short bursts. So it doesn't seem to gel with survival. So I don't know why it's. I don't see how this works with survival very well. It seems like additional and not like supporting
and there's still one more tree to come, right?
Yeah, it will be. That will be the more survival one.
Sure,
like,
but
marksmanship.
Yeah. But the point being, though, that
but like thematically, like Dark Ranger thematically, marksmanship, Pack Leader thematically, Beastmastery. The third one will be thematically survival. Hopefully, that one is fun, more reliant on like the spirit of survival, like short, quick things, very light management. But the Beastmaster one is dull. It's like most of them are just like stuff that it's just like added to the things you're already doing. So it's just like
it sounds like Dark Ranger's in the same spot too.
I mean, I did not really read. I read Dark Ranger once.
You just like fire a Sylvanas arrow every once in a while.
Yeah, but the Beastmastery one is like it doesn't even give you something new to fuck with. It's just kind of like it's just like, oh, the stuff you already have. It's just like whatever. And it's like you can manage. There's like a management aspect. I think I can't remember what the spell is called for Beastmastery. No, scroll down one more. One more.
No, this is defensive.
Oh, then go to the middle. Up one. No, up
No.
the middle.
I was in the middle and I went up.
No, go to the middle of the middle.
The middle. Down.
What's in the direct middle of there? Go to the middle of the middle. Yes.
Okay, so when I went up...
never mind. That's crap. Go to the right.
I was on it. Okay.
Okay, go down one more. Let's see.
She probably means Beast of Opportunity.
There it is.
Yes, that's the one. Is that the consuming the frenzied tear is like that seems to gel with like Beastmaster, like you're consuming your, I don't remember what it's called, barb shot, right? Like survival does not need something like that. It goes against what you're doing, right? So this doesn't look interesting to me.
Yeah, you don't like the one where it just calls a random pet from your stable?
I like it, but
just out of nowhere you got a seagull coming in.
I like having my pet. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, not having a pet is not an option, but I think stuff that like buffs your pet is like not fun or interesting.
Yeah, especially for survival.
It's just like number goes up, you know, and especially for survival because my pet does very negligible damage, right? It's supporting me like for management and things like that, but this one's not. I'm not interested yet. Next one, basically.
I am extremely excited about the Spellslinger one. Do you guys know how it works? I mean,
not the Frostfire one. Frostfire sounds so cool.
Frostfire does sound good, but I'm not going to play Frost or Fire, so I'm not really worried about it. But the Spellslinger one is effectively like you just keep setting out massive amounts of splinters, and every so often you rip the splinters out of everyone and like pull them back to you and then shoot them back out Just sounds really good. And there's just some
Is it
like
melee heavy? Like you need to do that stuff in melee? You bring them towards you and shoot them out? Okay.
But there's like good
Do you
quality
use
of life
tweezers
things
to
on there
get them
too.
out, or
Yeah, dude. You just go huzzah, and they come flying back at you. There's some good monk ones, like the Shadowpan one sounds kind of cool. The Conduit Celestials, you're just constantly calling on like the 4 Celestials to come into battle with you, kind of like that. All right, so last time we spoke about this, we talked about Lightsmith throwing stuff on the ground, but we've had 2 new ones since then. Herald of the Sun for Paladin and Templar for Paladin. Now, Herald of the Sun sounds cool for Holy. You just like constantly have like sunburns. I feel like there's an aspect of the play though where like it'd be cool if you had to, and you don't do this in WoW, but like you had to aim for a certain part of the mod that had the sunburn to get increased damage, but that's not how it works. It's just like they have
the sunburn problem is like Scrap was saying, where it's like the beast, where it's like it just goes on something and then it's just radiating off it.
Yeah.
Hover over the
like,
ability.
it's
Let's
less,
look at the skill.
It's kind of less
just creates a sunspot on the target, radiating damage and healing.
I can read while he's talking.
So it's like Scrap said about her one, where she's kind of like, so what, you buff your beast, she'd rather have things to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like the idea of it. If I want to be lazy and I just got AoE heals going everywhere, or damage, it's nice. But I like the idea of Lightsmith doing things.
Yeah, I agree with you, because even the Lightsmith, if it's not necessarily easy, or it's just like more management that doesn't make it fun, I can understand why you would like it. Sunspot, or whatever, the sun, Sunspot. If it visually looks really cool, I'm on board, which is the same way I feel about Templar, which effectively just has like hammers raining from the sky nonstop.
Yeah, that one to me as red is weird. I like it more than Herald of the Sun for red.
But like I would choose one, or like I would choose, if I was Rhett, for example, I would choose one or the other based on how visually cool it looks and feels. It's the same reason why I chose Divine Storm or Divine Shield, whatever, because it just like felt so cool setting all those shields out.
Yeah, I think Red, I'll be Templar. Just because I love the giant hammer that comes down already. So.
Yeah, they've already announced they're reworking Oracle, so everyone hated it. Move on for that. They announced Trickster. Have you looked at it, Shawnee?
No, super quick.
The big complaint from it, from what I can gather, is that you have to use your defensive, which I think is faint.
That's already horrible.
I hate that. I hate when they do that.
To do offensive stuff. So yeah, people aren't happy about that.
That's already a horrible.
They pull that shit every now and then with all kinds of random classes. I hate it.
The other problem is how many characters in a dungeon will that work on? Because for Rogue, it's always been a problem where, like, say if you got a lot of their stun moves don't work on things, and you get bonus for hitting people that are stunned. So like, is this gonna be another thing where like it says they're phased?
I feel like this will be one of those things that it's just a debuff. Like kind of like a Winter's Chill on a Frost Mage, right? Like it.
Yeah.
It could be, obviously, but I feel like the fact that they explain what phased is, it just sounds like.
And like pickpocket, like that's a dumb thing. Pickpocket extended by 10 yards. Don't even use pickpockets.
Well, thematically, right? Farseer.
But I mean, like even then, it's not stupid.
Farseer, a lot of the people were shitting on, but honestly, it sounds pretty cool. You just keep calling on ancestors. Problem is, I don't know what the fucking ancestor is. Is it like Thrall comes in to help you? I don't know.
Frank, that you're hovering over, that's aspect of the eagle. So.
You mean the icon?
Yeah, the icon. Yeah.
I don't know enough about warlocks. Mike, you've played a warlock.
I didn't look at the trees.
You haven't looked at them yet.
I'd say get fear in here, but then we'd be setting up another hour of conversation. So let's just move on to warrior. What really matters.
Okay, warrior. Well, take us through it. Just give us the rundown real quick.
Let's start on the Colossus tree, man. I'm actually really excited about it. Hover on the bottom ability, man.
Oh, well, here, let's explain the top one first.
No, let's not. Look at the bottom. Wait, it's not there. Yours doesn't show the most important factor. Hang on.
Which is what?
Well, it increases your size by 5%.
Oh, yes, I do remember.
That's awesome.
It's actually the one to the right.
Yeah.
To the right. Bottom right. Yeah. Mountain and Muscle of Scars. First of all, cool as shit name. You deal more damage, you take less damage, and you're fucking huge. That's cool.
I love that. That's
huge.
awesome.
5% huge.
Dude, I want That make me switch to arms just for that.
Yeah,
Like,
if it was like 50%, I'd say hell yes, but 5%?
No, you'll know it. You'll feel
Scrap.
it.
Imagine being a Volpura and just being the size of a human all of a sudden.
I'm not a Volpura though. I'm a big guy, so I'll be even bigger.
Double-edged sword. Like I won't be able to like bob and weave as well, but who cares? I'm gonna stomp on it.
You're gonna bob and weave just the same as like.
So start at the top though. Demolish. This is an active channeled ability. It's got a 45-second cooldown. You can block, parry, and dodge while you're doing it. So it's a lot like Devastate, I think the ability is. Or what's the channeled like
channel ability, man?
Demon Hunter ability. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's cool in the sense that hey, it's something new.
I love it. It's like
builds. It's all around like building. Go back to Demolish at the top. Okay, you get a series of powerful strikes. Colossal Might, the one below it. When you use Shield Slam or Mortal Strike if you're in arms, Shield Slam if you're tanking, you grant a stack of Colossal Might. It increases your damage done by Demolish by 10% up to 5 times.
So 50%
And then if you look
overall.
at your bottom ability, Unstoppable Force allows that to stack up to 10 times. Now, it doesn't say in the text whether that allows this Colossal Might buff to go up to 10 times. Like if the stack continues, I imagine it does.
Yeah, that's what
Anyway, basically this build is all around like do your normal shit, Shield Slam a fuck ton, which coincides really well with your tier bonuses because it's all around Shield Slam, eating up bleeds. But I like the fact that we'll have some choice with this build. And if you look at the talent, which is on the left center, you get to choose between one against many, which I think most of us will be going with. That kind of for tanking, it favors like using revenge, which we don't really use a lot right now because your tier set's saying use Shield Slam all day and ignore pain.
But yeah, we might have. Okay, well, I'm sorry to side right here. They said that they're going to with tier sets in the next expansion that may favor. Or am I confused? That may favor certain hero talent builds that might not be popular. So something to keep in mind too, right? Because like you might say now the tier set.
I hate that.
Change it?
No, they just because like the problem with talent trees that the way they have them now, anyways, is that some of the tier sets force you into a talent that you don't want to play. Scrap, you know this better than most, right?
Yeah. Yes, I hate that.
And then the hero talents might also do the same thing.
For Prot Warrior, for me anyway, the way that I play it, I haven't felt like I've been kind of pigeonholed into a certain spec or a certain play. I just feel like it incentivizes like a certain play style, not necessarily different items and different spec.
Well, I'll tell you
even with this same build, let me finish really quickly.
Go on, finish, then I can go on.
I just feel like you could choose either one of these options. I think it'd be really good. Like Artillery Bleed up front looks like a arms talent, like it's just gonna make your rend and deep wounds do more. But if you look at the tier set for Prot Paladin or Prot Warrior, your Shield Slam consumes the damage and amplifies it based on the bleed damage. So I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out with the Arterial Bleed talent as well. But then if you look over at Mountain Thane, which also has a really cool name, this is all about just like fucking thunderclaps and thunderstorms and lightnings and shocks, and it gives your shock throw, whatever the hell that thing's called, Stormbolt. It hits 2 additional people. Lots of really cool stuff going on there. It just makes you like a shocky, like a Thor style tank. It looks like it's going to do a boatload of damage. I'm interested to try both of those.
I think of the two, the Mountain Thanes thematically sounds more fun, right? Like
sounds like look great.
Lots of slamming and lots of thunder, right?
Yeah, Thunderclap's already the biggest damage output for a warrior that's playing Mythic Plus. And this just, I mean, it amplifies it so much. Like the bottom one of these talents just says straight up like 50% more damage on Thunderclap, and it's already number 1.
Technique. But have you considered you could be 5% bigger?
Fair point. This is all going on up here.
So as a Prot Warrior, are you excited that you have let's assume everything's tuned closely, because I'm not going to say perfectly, but closely. Are you excited about the agency of choice you have right now?
Yeah, I think for my class particularly, yes. And I feel like the biggest concern is what you see in a lot of the other popular streamers' channels is like, is this really going to be a choice, or is it going to be, a thematic little thing that you get to pretend to choose from as a competitive player?
Yeah, but I still feel like, I mean, again, Sarah used the Night Fae ability on Paladins long before anyone did, and she was competitive enough, like, We always talk about, again, Arcane competitive
different
enough.
To be competitive enough, like as a tank, though. If you're a DPS, it's like, you know.
I mean, you
want to be the most competitive.
I played the entire patch being less than every single demon hunter, and I had a good time.
Exactly. Technique is pointing out like enough. He's and I agree with him. Like I played
like, oh, it's not tier. I just mean like
I played Divine Toll when every prop paladin was playing not knife the vampire one, that big consecration.
Again, as a tank, you have a little bit more choice.
Oh, I thought you were saying the opposite. I thought you said you don't have choice because you have to keep up.
No,
as a tank, you have more choice.
As a tank or as a healer, as a DPS, it's like you kind of have one job and you do it. So
no, but again, like I'm just gonna say Arcane Mage.
I want to bring in Helldiver.
And how well does your Arcane Mage do, Frank?
Scrap, I mopped the floor with you in Shadowlands, right? Mm-hmm. And I have pictures that I'll post edit on this to show that you've lost to the Arcane Mage.
I mean, the difference is I don't save my pictures. But
yeah, that's a shame.
I think, but currently saying out of it, 66% of people at DPS mostly agree that the big number is what you're after.
Yeah. No, I okay. So if you want to argue, like, I don't care about the theme, I just want then fair enough, right? Like, my argument is though that if you do care about the theme, you're in a close enough. I mean, again, they've balanced the game so well for the past expansion. I'm gonna argue, right?
I know we're saying if there's a drastic difference.
Yes, of course. I totally can understand that. Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. No, and I mean, like, again, going back to like the Oracle or even the Lightsmith, like, I could totally understand that even if it was like positively buffed, right? You still may not want to do it because it's just more work. Like, totally understand that too. Shawnee, how do you feel about the agency of choice between your themes? Like, do you feel like I got enough, even if the balance is a little off, I can be happy with my choice?
I'm happy with the choices. I think I would hope that they're close enough that it doesn't make a big difference which one I play. Is my big thing. Like, because if one is astronomically ahead and above the others, I will play it.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, for the sake of the group, why have someone doing something when making everything harder? When
I get it. And what about you, Scrap?
If I can piggyback on Scrap's comment, like you said something just about, hey, it's just bigger numbers. That is super boring, and I just really hope that they take the time to include like I'm looking at the Slayer tree, for example, and it's basically just like, oh, this stack makes him vulnerable, and when he's vulnerable, it consumes stacks, and basically you just do more damage. I really hope that it's like bringing in some new. You
want it to be inspiring.
Some new art. I want some like new yells and some really like I want to know that it's happening without looking at the.
I would choose that over number goes up drastically, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. To feel cool as shit with my hero talents.
I agree. Yeah. And again, back to the point, like, I just thematically, I'm going to, like, even if the Shatter or whatever Spellslinger doesn't do higher damage, but it just looks so cool having all this, like, arcane stuff fly out, I'm going to choose it. And I always have, right? Because I, choose, like, this feels like me as opposed to feels like higher damage.
So when he does that, Scrap, we just gotta be like, you're losing because you want to look pretty.
No, the difference is that I never make the excuse that it's because Arcane. I make the excuse that I'm dying or I'm a shit player, right? I go out there and I try to work my ass off to get better.
Scrap, have you ever heard the words Arcane is the hardest class to play?
Have you ever heard I'm switching to Frost?
And how did it work out? How did it work out?
Well, I mean, which time? Because it's happened like 10 or 15 times now.
Yeah. It's all right. Listen, it's okay. We know you love Arcane.
Okay. 10 or 15 times, Scrap, huh?
Yeah, I can probably go back and search how many times you've posted that.
I'm gonna pull my radar. I'm gonna pull my radar. Yeah, that I am Arcane. That's what the Moana chip is.
Though, it's just as many else as there have been Moanas. You're not posting Moana if you're already Moana. If you're shifting from one to the other, you post it.
No. All right. Anyways, Scrap, do you feel thematically? I mean, you only got one right now if you're Hunter, but you've seen the warrior ones. I don't know if you're planning on. You don't.
Well, I like the 5% bigger, but I don't know.
You haven't decided what class you're going to play yet?
I'll probably start with my Hunter just because I like enjoy my Hunter. I enjoy the playstyle right now. I kind of fell out of love with the Fury playstyle because they just were shooting it in the foot. I felt like repeatedly. So I don't know, but that might change. They might ruin survival and then they'll switch to something else.
Fair enough.
Slayer Warrior, maybe.
Slayer Warrior sounds cool as fuck. Like
just the name, yeah.
The name sounds cool, and that seems to be like the Fury one. So I don't know.
It's Arms and Fury.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whatever the case may be, we still have some to see. But I think I'm excited. Okay, let's talk about the big secret that was kept from us for weeks on end. You know, teasing and teasing and teasing. Plunderstorm was launched last week. Just a quick rundown on it. It's a battle royale version of WoW, effectively. Set in the Arathi Highlands. Am I right on that? Yeah, I can't remember.
Yep.
And you know, no add-ons. Everyone's, you know, essentially on the same playing field. You just get to choose what you look like, but you don't get any of the buffs of the race or the class or whatever. And you pick up your spells just like you kind of would pick up a gun in Call of Duty or Fortnite. So yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a lot of rewards tied to a renown track, which might be the reason why a lot of you are doing it. But I want to first get y'all's opinion on keeping it a secret and how you felt once you saw it finally revealed. So, Shani, I'll start with you since you and I have talked a little bit about this.
I'm actually loved that they kept it a secret because I was excited to see what it was. I hate data mining. I hate knowing what's coming unless it's actually Blizzard announcing it and giving us a slight tease. I don't want to know the next 50 expansions, what's exactly in all of them. Just like Scrap doesn't want to go play it beforehand. If I read about it all beforehand, I'm less interested. And it gives the community more time to shit on this thing that you might like and start to spoil it for you.
All right, Tech, what
I
about
agree
you?
with all your points. All those points are super valid, man. I feel like that developers and game producers and creators, they have a really big challenge in keeping stuff quiet because you got leaks, but you also have data mining and you want to test it, but you don't want everyone to get in and share it all. It's a big challenge, and it works against the community and the game developers both. And I don't want to see the movie trailers really before I watch the movie, let alone like get every little percentage detail on every little thing. Anyway, yeah, they did a great job of keeping it secret. I feel like the community would have destroyed the idea without knowing what it was going to be, and they didn't have that opportunity. So,
well, they did have an opportunity a little bit because the fact that they announced it as the patch was happening and it was an 8-hour maintenance. For those 8 hours, everyone just lost their damn mind. And shit on it, right?
Man, but I was
but
sleeping for those 8 hours.
That doesn't have as much lasting impact, I think, because it's like
as like
only 8 hours.
I feel like
YouTuber making videos. I mean, most of those 8 hours, a lot of people are at work anyway. So,
yeah. Okay, well, my question though is really about the idea that it wasn't WoW based; it was kind of just like WoW adjacent. A lot of people are upset because they thought, oh, I was going to get a new zone, or I was going to get like maybe a time walking event kind of thing, something in game that would be a part of my character, but it's not. Do you guys care about any of that?
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, you get stuff for your character.
Yeah,
it's as WoW adjacent to me as I feel battle pets are. Like, as much as I enjoy battle pets, I don't feel they're part of WoW. Like, as a whole. So.
I feel like this is a future model is kind of dangerous because it's like they're going to make something that everybody hates at some point, I feel like. And if they keep it a big secret and then blow it up and it's like, hopefully they know if they've got something good or not. Like, I mean, you know how I feel about Plunderstorm. Like, I really, really like it. So, but I feel like if it was dog shit, it would be like, dude, you guys kept that a secret? Like, what the hell?
Well, the rumor is that they're working on a vampire game now too, like some sort of I guess last man standing.
I mean, I trust them. Like, I think Plunderstorm is really well made. I think it could use a bracket system, but that's kind of the only thing.
What do you mean a bracket system?
Like PvP?
Yeah, no. Yeah, well, a scoreboard, absolutely a scoreboard.
One,
but like a bracket system of like if you suck, you're put in a bracket of people who suck. If you're like killing it, you get put in a bracket of people who are killing it.
They have an MMR system.
Like a rating system.
They have an MMR system.
I wish it was public.
Yeah, okay.
If that makes sense. Yeah, because like we don't know if we're doing well. Like you and I as a team only won once, but we're getting paired with the guys who are won 40, 50 times. Like
100 times. We were paired. Just a quick side note. We were paired with Max and Trill, who are like going to be. They're going to be in the content creator event on Friday. and with Dorky, who's like a M pluser. He was a third, I think, in the MDL.
Like,
MDI last
I want to
week.
know what's making my MMR go up, right? Like, as if you're in the top 10,
fair
does
enough.
it go
So you
up?
want to
If
see
you're
the
like,
number, you want to see.
I want it to be more transparent because I feel like we should not be in a bracket with those guys because like we're not winning consistently. You know.
WoW has proven they cannot work MMR, hence by rated battlegrounds. So it doesn't surprise me that they can't do MMR.
Don't you think arenas? You don't think arenas is good MMR? I mean, I never played it at quite a high level.
They are super off, and especially rated battlegrounds. You can see the MMR, and you're like, why am I in this against someone that's 2,000 rating ahead of me? It's just, their MMR system's ran by a donkey somewhere that's working in a circle.
That's probably maybe why they hit it, because it doesn't work very well.
It is atrocious.
I mean, I will say Plunderstorm is still really, really fun, even if you don't get number 1 every time. So.
Tech, have you enjoyed it? Played it all?
I played a handful of matches, just kind of see what the hype was about. And as a very wise person in this podcast said once, it's not my cup of tea, and that's okay, man. I don't play Fortnite. I don't play any other Royales. I don't really care to play a half-assed WoW version of.
Do you think it's half-assed?
I don't think it's half-assed. I think they did a good job.
I do, in the sense
they did a stellar
that
job.
I mean, literally all they did was take their assets and copy a game's style, and that's okay because we didn't pay extra for it and we didn't wait for it. That's fine. I'm okay with that in general. It's not for me. It's okay that it's for you.
Yeah, that's
cool.
fine, obviously, yeah.
But like, I do wish that there was a little more of like a Warcraft twist to it. And I got into this conversation with Christine, my wife, about it, and I was like, just kind of opening up to her about it, like, the game in general is really pulling away from like Warcraft lore, and like you see like spaceships and like cat mounts and crap, and like that doesn't really fit in my Warcraft like universe.
Yeah,
I really wish they would just bring it home a little bit.
But don't you think War Within and the World Soul Saga might do that?
I mean, if they could destroy every single person's mount that is stupid, that'd be cool. If they could take their like tuxedos and their like Christmas outfits and burn them, that'd be cool. I want to kind of like bring it back to like high fantasy Warcraft, not high fantasy like.
He's like, get off my front lawn.
Like I don't know, it's a little weird.
Hold on, save those takes because we got our final segment, which I think you might have some additional to add on to that.
Yeah, he will.
Look, this is the way I look at. First off, okay, so Scrap and I like grinded the hell out of this, and
we already beat it.
I think solos, it's okay. Like again, I think this is more geared towards someone young. Like I think the younger you are, the more you enjoy this kind of game, which is fine.
Definitely, that's the target with the Royale style games. Like,
but playing twos was a lot of fun. Right?
Yeah, twos is fun.
Just even like having a good laugh.
What makes it different?
I did it again.
There's like a social aspect to the idea that one, you're coordinating with someone so you can like kind of be a little more strategic. But two, hilarity ensues.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you like it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you also
everyone
get
in that match is twos, or
everybody's twos. What's fun about it, Technique, is that you get access to more combinations. Like in solos, it's like you get 2 defensives and 2 offensives. Whereas like if there's 2 of us, that doubles. So we can pull off crazy combinations. Like Frank and I would like double stun people, and then like just chain stun people, or like getting a double.
It was more of Scrap running away a lot, and then I'd be like, "Where'd you go?" And he said, "Well, I was dying," and she's at 80% health.
My fight or flight is very powerful. But like what I think is fun about twos is that like you can pull off a huge like litany of different combinations of things. It makes it a lot more fun and varied.
Yeah, it was awesome when we did get into that game with Max, and we're like, well, we're not going to kill them. We know that.
Yeah, we just blew the chicken boxes.
We both grabbed chicken boxes and just dropped it at their feet, and they just like obliterated us with 10 chickens running around them. Like it was just fun. The bush tactic, we had so much fun just like trying to trick people into seeing us and then not seeing us.
I think the real testament is that like even though we've both completely beat it, like we're at the capped renown, I would play it right now.
Oh,
again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
To gain nothing, just for the sake of
played
playing
it this afternoon.
Like,
I was just like, grind a little bit.
Yeah. Like it's fun enough to play with absolutely no gain whatsoever.
I think it's good. It's not necessarily for me, even though I enjoy PvP a lot. I do think it's good. My biggest knock against it is that it's a limited time. And I feel like
I think that's really good.
I don't like it as much because I don't want to have to grind it out.
Well, and don't get me wrong,
degree.
Shawnee, I mean, like, the truth is that if you did, let's do the math real quick, 6 weeks, that's how many days, like, 6 times 7, 42, right? I don't know.
For the same reason that I no longer want the legendary, I'm not going to grind it out. I don't want the same shit that
Well,
someone else is
that's
going to
the
get
thing.
just because they spent 6 weeks doing it.
That's the thing with this is that this isn't a legendary. This is all just visual stuff.
Cosmetic
it's not
stuff, sure.
Yeah, cosmetic, which is what they should offer for something like this.
I like it.
But like Shawnee, isn't the legendary a time gated event? Like it's temp, you know, you have to do it now or else you can't do it.
I don't care about the legendary in the sense of I've never cared about the legendaries in the game at all. You only get it for that time, and I've always thought that's a problem with WoW, where like I work my ass off for this legendary, and then next expansion is useless.
Well, transmog is forever.
What about like you talked about the arena gear, like even if the transmog is what you like about it, like the look of it, it's also time gated.
Arena wise?
Yeah, like if I don't hit a certain rating, I'm not going to get this set. In fact, I think arena might be even worse because like if you're not in that season, you can't get it.
Yeah, it goes away.
Only the gladiator gear is time gated.
Sure, I don't know PvP enough. Yeah, but like what I'm saying is that's time gated too.
Nothing else is. No other gear sets are. Like it's only the gladiator.
I would like this. I think what I guess I'm getting at is I wish this was just a permanent part of the game that when I'm bored I can go kill some time in it.
Shawnee, I would love to see this introduced as a battleground where you play with your WoW characters. It would be sweet.
No,
I think they'll change the theme going forward.
Yeah, I think they will.
As a battleground.
I think what'll happen is
because the balance is so horrible that people would not want to do it.
I think the balance is actually really, and that's another testament to the fact that this is a surprise.
As a battleground, like you would have your character with all your character's abilities, wear PvP gear and stuff like that. But you can say that about any battleground.
Oh, it would be.
Anyways, I think what they're aiming to do with this is the filler that they'll pull out of the cupboard whenever there's downtime in the season or stretch, right? So
I'm going to play this every time into the fucking ground.
Imagine like now it's in Arathi, but next time it's in like the what's the
next time?
No, like it's in Northrend somewhere. Like it's in the Dragon Blight.
I think it's more than that.
100%.
I think you're going to see like mini games that copy other.
Yeah,
but they always do the technique. Games. I mean, they have like Pokemon and came out in Cataclysm. You know what I mean? Like they do that all the time.
Yeah.
Or
I feel like
make the renown go quicker.
They literally could take pet battles, and if they just move the UI to like what they've done for this Plunderbutt, they could put pet battles on the main screen and just say, "Hey, click that, and you're going to do some pet battles real quick for 10 minutes."
I don't know if I agree with that statement, but what I would say is
this: you literally mini games like that outside of the WoW realms.
Yeah, but you don't have to log into another screen to do that. Whereas this one, like they have a different UI, they have a different like just physics engine because you can double jump on any character, stuff like that. And then on top of that, the mount system's different. I mean, not everything. A lot of things are different. But on top of that, Sean, to your point, I'd be floored if next week they don't increase the renown game.
I hope they increase it.
I think it's fine. We beat it in 3 days.
You guys didn't sleep for like 3 days.
That's not true.
That's not true. But like the thing is, if
4 hours, I streamed it 4 hours a night for 3 nights.
But Shawnee, if you win one, like even when we didn't win, we got like 3,000. Like when we were like in top 5, we got like 3,000.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, not everyone was that fortunate, and I found the renown ground longer than I would prefer.
It's only been a week.
Getting KSM is going to take 12-ish hours, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's not a problem with that, like.
But there's a gated time to this where KSM's
there's gated time for gated time. Well, that's gated time. KSM.
Yeah, it's just 3 months. It's 3 months instead of 6 weeks. No, it's not that much longer. March.
It's double.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like double 1 of 2 is not that much. Like it's 1 more, right? Like I mean.
But 6 is a big number compared to 3.
You mean 6 compared to 12? Yeah.
If it feels like it's a grind, and it's not fun to you. You shouldn't play it because the only thing you get out of it is cosmetic.
Yeah, no, I don't mind doing it. I don't hate it. Either make the renown quicker or make it a permanent thing. I don't think it's a horrible
I kind of wish there was more to get.
I do too. I wish there was something reward we get for playing it.
Yeah, like you could take the plunder and turn it into something, like.
Yeah, you could turn it into currency,
buy things
gold.
From the trader.
You could turn it into gold.
I think I read that you'll be able to turn them into for things like flight stones and other stones coming up in the next patch.
I would love
Maybe.
that.
Yeah, that might be good.
Just, not necessarily for your end game players like us, but some people will be able to buff up their blues if they start on an alt or whatever with flight zones they got from.
It would just be nice to have something, right? Because it's
And
like
putting
we can
12
play
hours
it a
into
lot.
something, that's a long time, I've heard. So
Yeah, but 12 hours over 6 weeks is not a long time.
it is for some people. Like, if they had to play a character in Diablo 4 for 12 hours to 100, they would cry about it.
Yeah, but you don't have to
hold
do
on.
this.
I'm gonna answer this
100%.
because Shawnee, you're missing my point. I said I didn't want to play it a third time. I did it once already, and I was happy with that. I did it twice actually, and I was happy with that. And then I was like, that's enough for me, right? But that's not the same
You said
thing.
12 hours was a long time.
Was it 12? I thought you said like 14 or 17 or something like that.
I said it was like 12 hours.
Okay,
But anyway.
fair enough.
There are plenty of
Alright.
like cosmetic things that are much, much longer grinds, and people don't have any issue with it. Like you
well,
try
that's
to get
other people.
invincible
This is
or
mine.
something.
I wouldn't. No,
Yeah,
but I wouldn't even.
other
I wouldn't
people,
even.
This is my personal.
Yeah. I think
this
that's
is
a
me
personal
personally
opinion.
saying.
Yeah.
I didn't say other people have a problem.
I would just.
I would
compare 'em
prefer
to-
either I get renowned quicker or it was permanent.
Yeah.
I'm a
That's
little
just what
weird
I
when
would
it comes to
prefer.
like cosmetic rewards. Like I straight up don't want the cosmetics that I can get easily. Like I don't care about your pirate outfit if I can do it in 12 hours. I just don't care.
I
'Cause everyone's
see.
gonna
I only
have it.
care about the pirate outfit because I like the pirate
Yeah,
outfit.
she likes.
'Cause you
I
love
don't.
pirate
I won't have the
pirate
pirate
stuff.
outfit on for much long. Like
I don't care if they turn it. They're like next time it's an Ashenvale and now it's a blue pirate outfit. I'm gonna get every fucking color they put out.
You love
Well, it's a good thing because that
transmog,
will
so
be a
it's
blue
great
pirate
to
because
do.
they've already got it in the game files.
I don't care how many times they do it. They just change the color. I'll get everyone. Like I collect a lot of pirate outfits. So
Please don't let Blizzard watch this.
Blizzard,
'Cause that is
please.
what they'll do.
They've already done
Make
it. They've already done it.
slightly blue.
already
I'll
do
do
it now.
it.
Hours, you get a blue version.
No, they've
Yeah,
already
the
got
blue
it in the game
version.
files. It's already there. That that's what they're gonna do.
I don't care. Like again, this is stuff that is not required to play. If you don't like getting a blue and a purple and a green,
Well,
you
hold
don't
on.
have to.
No, I know.
Like,
Hold on. I don't think like you don't need to. I think the key here is that I think the Renown track was a good idea because Renown felt good because unlike Reputation where you have that like last step, it takes forever. Renown felt constant, right? I mean, we were getting to a point scrap where we were like getting one Renown for every other match, and the matches only last 10 minutes. Like
and
so.
some matches we would get a whole Renown just.
Oh
from
yeah,
the
no,
match.
somebody did
Not even
4,000,
winning.
so a Renown and a half.
Yeah,
But
and
then some
you don't even
matches you
have
get
to
none.
win.
Well, we
you
only
have
got
to
none on some
really-
because Scrap was really fucking around.
You'd have
Which,
to really
okay,
fuck up to get none, and if you get none,
Okay.
it's like a 5-minute time investment.
one thing I hate
okay?
about Plunderstorm,
the pilot.
we
Alex doesn't like that.
played probably what, let's call it 100 matches, right?
Yeah, 100.
Mike, take a guess at how many times I was the pilot of our ship versus Scrap.
0.
1.
3.
One.
No.
No, I got one. I got one.
No.
I got
It
one
was
on
more than
Haywire.
one because
All right,
no.
So let's
Twice with me,
this
and then
doesn't
one with
matter.
Haywire. 3.
Anyways,
let's
point
move on
is,
to the next thing.
point is, I love the time gate to it because I don't want it to always be there because then I won't feel it's special. But I do appreciate what Shawnee says. I think the Renown is a perfect spot, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me. The game is fun as hell.
It's fun, yeah.
All right. Anyways, let's move on to our last
No
topic.
complaints about it. I think if you're having fun with it, man, do it. They didn't charge me for it. I'm all good. you
I
know?
agree, Technique. That's how I feel too.
Yeah, that's how
I mean-
I feel about all the stuff in WoW that I don't do. If other people have a great time and it keeps subs up and it keeps the game going, I get stuff I like, I'm happy for it overall.
Totally good.
I don't know, man.
Yep.
You keep direct messaging me whenever you see me in Plunderstorm. You going, I'm going to kill you.
Well,
we
if I
need
was in
to
the
run
same
Shawnee
match as
through
you, I would.
some.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
fair.
You don't
We
have to. I mean,
Well, no, not run you, but do it with you so that you can get like big
but
numbers.
but you can't either one or the other have to. I think you guys keep missing that. Two of you were like, we should all play together. It's me sitting there and listening to YouTube play.
I
been
would
1 week.
love,
Yeah.
would love if we could do quads. I would love
That'd be
it
awesome.
so much. I know it'd probably be busted as hell, but that would be so much fun. Anyways,
But,
okay.
So
So that's the end of part 1 of this podcast episode. We'll have part 2 up next week. Take care.